All right, we're gonna try another one of these. Let's talk about the pile again. So you can see behind me, I have my framed Ghoulies poster. I'm a bit obsessed with little rubber monster movies from the 1980s. Always have been. Ghoulies, Gremlins, Critters, Munchies, Hobgoblins. You know, it's all big fan of all of them, and I've always wanted to make one. So go back to 2015, 2016 when the first Shark Exorcist movie came out. We ran a one night only screening at my old theater in Wayne, and I think it was like 8-Bit Eric showed up, uh, uh, um, Justin Silverman, Tony, Ryan. I think Mike Matei was there as well, and we were joking about shark movies at the time. So I'd come up with a bunch of pun titles, as I'm known to do. So I had like the Great White Hope, which would be like all the heroes from all the Sci-Fi Channel originals have to get together to fight like this one giant shark or whatever. Curse of the Were Shark, which would be like like an on land man shark werewolf thing, which I kind of wrote years later when I wrote Jaws Ferratu, which was originally Sharkula, and then the one I had was Bite Size, and I was like, ooh, that's a good fucking idea. So I went and I was rewatching Gremlins 2. I love Gremlins 2 more. Ghoulies 2 I prefer as well. And I kind of had the idea, it's like, all right, what about little rubber shark monsters with big personalities? Kind of done, a la Garbage Pail Kids kind of vibe to them where they're like bold colors and bulgy eyes and stuff like that. So the idea that I'd come up with for Bite Size was that there was a doctor who was trying to cure, uh, cancer and stuff like that, and it reminded me of The Simpsons when Itchy and Scratchy Land, where they're watching the Sorcerer's Apprentice thing, and he cuts Itchy's cut up into a million pieces, and he breathes them in, and little tiny Itchies are inside his body, like hacking him to pieces from the inside out. So I was like, oh, what if that's actually a cool idea? What if the guy creates like these microbes that are little sharky things, and he puts them injects them into the body to eat cancer cells. But then they mutate inside the body and burst out as shark monsters. So they tried to hide it, and it's an urban legend. But then some people stumble upon the results, which are these little shark rubber monster things that get loose, and then are after our protagonists, who are stuck in what's this building that was walled has a walled off aquarium behind it, and it's a toxic waste site, or I don't remember all of it, but it'll revolve around this reporter who feels like she's wasting her time working in the town she's working in. She'll never get ahead because she's a woman. And she smells, she snoops out a story and joins these people, and then winds up accidentally releasing these things. And it leads to like some really fun kills, like someone falling and the fin coming up out of the ground, and then being like a buzz saw and going straight through their head, and then their head, like the top and bottom, pop off. Or one person tries to shoot and the gun's empty, and when they look, there's a little shark monster at the end of the hall, and it's shaking the bullets and stuff like that. They'd all have like big fucking personalities. So I wrote like 70 something pages, and I tried to make it as like cheap as possible, and having a whole animated backstory, so we could tell a more a more grand story without having to shoot it. And I remember I had talked to Kieran, who used to work at Screenwave, about doing the animation for it, and I talked to Crystal, who used to be my girlfriend and my production partner, about playing the reporter, and I wrote a lot of stuff directly for her, which was really, really funny lines in there about like the glass ceiling and stuff like that, given where she worked. And I don't know, some shark madness, and it was just a fun, cheesy, sleazy little rubber shark monster movie. And I had Robbie from Crude Cinema, who, this was even before I wrote any scripts with him. I had him build me a little puppet, as a test. And yeah, I wrote a teaser for it, and then I converted it to a comic book, and there's some comic book pages that exist for it. But it would have just been these little fun creatures that we could have then marketed like toys out of, and puppets and merchandise and stuff like that. They would have had like a Mad Balls kind of vibe, very 80s style. But it never went anywhere, and it was definitely one of the gorier, slimier, cheesier, sleazier ones that I had written. And I'm bummed out that it didn't get made, because I do desperately want to make a little rubber monster movie one day, but today is not that day. So yeah, if you have any interest in learning more about this project, hit me up. Let me know in the comments what you want to hear about, or what's your favorite little rubber monster movies. I've it's definitely one thing that I'd love to bring back. I'd love my own Ghoulies one day, and I just thought that Bite Size was a really fucking fun title. And if you combine Gremlins, Ghoulies, and Jaws, right there should have been enough. And I never got a chance to pitch it, but I wish I did. But that's just, I had a title, I had a way that you would make said monsters, and then I just kind of made up the gore as you went, leading up to big, ridiculous, gory ending that would have been a lot of fun. And yeah, and I just wrote parts for all my friends back then that I thought that we could have pulled off, and it would have given me an excuse to shoot down the Jersey Shore. And yeah, it never got made. It's just another one for the pile.